I'm a big fan of Hanibal Lecter and Dexter Morgan. If you're not familiar with the characters, they're not very nice people, and the shows that were created around them really suck in the audience into rooting for the bad guy. So I'm very excited to talk to you about You. You centers on a character by the name Joe, who is a very nice guy. He loves books, he's very intelligent, somewhat quiet, he's a man of honor, but the internal monologue that we also can hear as the audience tells us that his thoughts and actions are not well intended. In fact, he's very creepy and pervy, and he is a stalker. And he does interesting, very inappropriate things. And he encounters people in his life that are somewhat oblivious to the kind of person that he really is. I do not want to break any plot point for you of this amazing series with 3 seasons available on Netflix now, and a 4th season is coming. The reason why I want to talk to you about it is because the show does something extremely well, which is it proposes the idea that there could be characters with very deep and perverse motivations that are not doing the right thing ever, and yet the audience is gonna love them. The show is very sexy. In fact, it's not appropriate for kids, maybe not even teenagers, and it exploits our fascination with characters that are bad but also are somewhat suave, and eventually it creates stories where we want to see those characters succeed at what they do. And unfortunately, the things that they do, they're not very honorable, to say the least. The cast is always spot on, and the main character, Joe, is played extremely well by somebody that you would see in the street and not pay any attention to, but eventually, once you get to know him, once you get to know his mannerisms, his motivations, the things that he thinks, the things that he says, and the way he relates with other people, and why he is the way he is, the audience and myself, we find ourselves just really enjoying the show, to the degree that You, Season 3, dethroned the Squid Game from being the most watched show on Netflix in that particular week. It says something about it. If you think about Squid Game and the international sensation that it was and how many people watched it, and then You, Season 3, not the first, the second, the third season came in and it dethroned that. So it must speak loudly about the huge fan base that You has. The people in this show are visually very attractive, and the characters are crafted in a very interesting way where you can see your neighbor, your friend, yourself in some of these characters falling for somebody who's charming, intelligent, and very clever. In fact, the characters sometimes have very smart and calculated decisions, and sometimes they have emotional outbursts that make them do very not smart things, and I actually think that is another great way of making the audience relate with some characters, because we act mostly in a rational way, but sometimes where our emotions are heightened and we get tangled into what's happening, we do not very smart things. So altogether, You really pulls the idea that those who do bad things have very different ways of thinking about it, and perhaps it is okay for us as the audience to want to see them succeed, and most importantly, we want to see how they're going to make it through. The example of Dexter Morgan, who is another character that does very bad things for his own reasons and his own motivations, is a very good case of an antagonist that we really want to see succeed. Hanibal Lecter and the series around him, it's all about how good people, the police, the FBI, are trying to catch him, and how he gets away with the atrocities that he does, and it works so well. It's a very popular movie franchise and TV series. Of course, the source material is great. That's where I'm coming back to as well. You is based on very good written material that to me feels like a combination of Hanibal Lecter and 50 Shades of Grey. No, this is a weird combination, but that sexy factor that I talked about it, where human sexuality and love plays into the motivations and the actions of what's going on, is very particular and that mix works, at least for me, and of course for a lot of people that love this show, very well. So, if you haven't seen You, it's available on Netflix. You can binge watch all 3 seasons, 10 episodes each, and a fourth one is coming. If you have seen You, please let me know why you love the show or some of the pitfalls that you think the show has fallen through now that it's on its third season. I'm Jin from Get Me More, and you know where to find me. Thanks for watching.